Victor Frankenstein has made a terrible mistake. In his desperate pursuit to create life, he actually created a creature or a monster. In his obsession to put to work what he has learned and to make him a friend, he has created a monster. But really, did he? Welcome to Boozy Bee's Books and Cocktails. It is a special Halloween episode, and I am so excited to share with you one of my favorite classic novels. And I hope that I do it justice. And by one of the justice is bringing to you a new crafted cocktail. And I'm going to show you how to make it. And we're just going to talk about Frankenstein. So let me set the book for you. I read it several years ago, and I went back and read it again just so that I could have some of my points really solid for you guys. When I was a child, I watched the movie, and it was silly and kind of horrific, and I didn't really get it. You know, we all have watched Young Frankenstein, the Mel Brooks movie. And so for me to go back and read the book, it was very interesting. I learned quite a bit about it. And the book begins as letters, and it's Robert Walton, and he is on a um, boat or a ship, and he's in the Arctic Circle. And so they're breaking ice through it. And he meets a man on the ice, and so the man is described to be almost dead, and so Mr. Walton brings him on his boat and revives him. And what's so funny about it is Robert Walton, in his letters to his sister, said he wished he had a friend, someone that he could talk about books and his likes and dislikes. And so he meets this man, and he brings him back to life. And it is Victor Frankenstein. And Victor Frankenstein decides to tell him his story. And that's kind of where the book begins. And we learn about how Victor's obsession has turned his obsession into a creature. So, just a couple of origins about Frankenstein. Mary Shelley, the author of the book, was 17 years old when she wrote the book, and the year was 1816. And at that time, electricity was being really studied and starting to be used. And she was at a gathering with Lord Byron and Percy Shelley, and they were a lot older than her. And here she is, a 17-year-old, and she's fallen in love with Percy Shelley. She's lost a baby. Percy Shelley is married and has children, and he's having an affair with this 17-year-old. And so they're gathered around, and Lord Byron or Percy Shelley, one of the two, decides to have a competition. And that competition is to write the best ghost story. And so this happened 200 years ago, and we're still talking about a story that was written by a 17-year-old amongst some of the most educated men in the world at the time. So, what I found interesting about this, and then comparing to what we're going through now, is, and it just kind of dawned on me because Mary Shelley had written this book about loss and love and tragic. And at the time, it was sci fi and horror. And just talking about Victor and how he was so obsessed, and for months and months he would go to slaughterhouses and um, the where dead people were, and he would gather body parts. And she doesn't talk much about how the creature came to life. She talked more about the obsession, and how the obsession, once Victor put all these parts together, and while he was doing it, he thought it was the most beautiful thing. He had long, luscious hair, and his skin was of porcelain. And the moment that the creature came to life, he snapped out of it and saw what he had created, and it was a creature. It had droopy, watery eyes. His skin was yellow. And then, seeing it in the correct eyes, he didn't want him anymore. And how, to me, that is such a human thing. We strive for perfection, but once we see it, we don't want it anymore. And that's what happened to Victor and the creature. Once he saw him come to life, I'm going to knock these bottles off when but once he brought it to life, he was scared of it. He was petrified of it. He was grossed out by it and ran away from it. And I just found that it was so interesting. But the other side of the interesting that I saw was how, as we are going into the age of AI, and we are creating these things to know us so well, and in the image of us, are we creating something kind of like the creature that um, Victor Frankenstein created, and then we won't want it, and they take over. So, as a reflection or the rejection of the creature, I wonder, um, the I went into the story. It was all about what the creation had been made, what Victor had made, what this horrific creature was. But once I read the book and I heard, all the creature wanted was love, and he wanted to have someone to admire. He wanted to have friendship. He learned from reading and watching a family what a family was really about. And that's what he craved. And Victor rejected him. And so all he knew, he was a reflection of Victor. And it says in the book that Victor had um, anger problems, and he didn't know how to love. And so then the creature is a mirror of Victor. And so once everybody was to see the creature, they were scared of him, and all the emotions that he had was anger. And so that I it just really made me stop and think. And it's, gosh, what can you say about a 200-year-old book, and we're still talking about it? I understand that they're making another movie about it that's coming out, which I didn't know when I started deciding to do this for Halloween. I didn't realize it was coming out around this time. So that's kind of fun too. So, thinking about the cocktail that I might wanted to serve today, I wanted to make something. I wanted it to be something that had to be mixed up, thinking about the scientist of Victor Frankenstein. And I wanted it to come alive and be, I wanted so much for the creature to be happy and bright and cheery, and of course he is not. But I wanted my cocktail to kind of be that way, and I wanted to use things that I already had in my cabinet that I didn't have to go out and buy. So the name of the cocktail is called the Creature's Cure, and if you saw my thumbnail is called the Creature's Cure, and I am sitting at the bar with the creature, and our cure is to, one, talk together, and two, share a cocktail. So this is my creation. It so we have whiskey, bourbon, then we have Amaro Nonino, which I'm probably killing the name with that, and then we have Grand Marnier. I made some honey syrup to add into that, and then some fresh lemon juice. Then I put, for the garnish, I've got a uh, cherry that looks like a heart, and then I put some edible glitter in there. And I hope with all this lighting thing going on that we will be able to see it. So we're going to put everything in a shaker except for the cherry and the glitter, edible glitter. So I have ice that I'm putting in my shaker, and we're going to do a ounce and a half of I've got Devil's Cut Jim Beam here. So, and I enjoyed putting the props together. My little light went off, so let's turn this back on so y'all can see the electricity going. So, ounce and a half of this. You know, when you're doing this by yourself and you're trying to create something that's people might want to watch, it's kind of a a creation of itself. So we're gonna do a half an ounce of the Amaro. And I got this at Colonial Wine and Spirits. Shout out to them. And then I also got my Grand Marnier there too. So if they're watching, if y'all know of anybody that knows them, tell them to give it a watch. And Grand Marnier is an orange flavored, so we've got a lot of citrus going on here. And then this is the freshly squeezed lemon juice. And then the honey syrup, and this is my friend's honey that he harvests again. And so it is just, I did 3 to 1. So I did 3 tablespoons of honey with 1 tablespoon of warm water so I could dilute it. So we are going to shake this up. Give it a good shake. I'm going to let it settle down a little bit. Then we're going to pour it in here. And I just used a plain tumbler today. And I probably should have put some ice in it to make it a little bit. But there you go. There's our drink. I don't know if we can see the glitter in it or not. I see it a little bit, but it's hard to see without all these lights, very dim. So I did a toast, and my toast is Victor called him a monster, but Mary Shelley called him a mirror. Here's to the beauty and what we create and the mess it makes. So cheers, here we go. Oh, that is nice. So I will have to say that I taste the Amaro Nonino a little bit more. It's got a like a real rich, tones of orange. This is good, y'all. It almost tastes like the paper plane that I make. Ooh, that is so good. Okay, so we've talked about Frankenstein. Everything's going off here. Frankenstein. Have you read it? Have you read Frankenstein? Like I said, I was really surprised about what all I learned, and just to think that it was written 200 years ago and it's still so relevant today and what we're going through with AI. I just thought that it was perfect. I don't know that it was there was a couple of things so my likes and dislikes. I love that it's still relevant today. I love that we're still making movies off of it. I love that people are still writing and rewriting it. The things I didn't care for was it was a horror. And in our standards today, it's not a horror. It's more focused on sci-fi. I had a lot of questions for her. She did not list or write about the putting together of the body, and which is fine. I mean, I, she was 17 years old, so I feel like she really got the psychological part of it. So maybe it's more of a psychological thriller or horror than it is a horror as we call horror today. So I really like that. Did you, if you read it, did you at the end feel for the creature like I did? My heart broke for the creature because all he really wanted was love, and he didn't ask to be made. He was made in the image of Victor. So does that go back to God and Adam? At least God kind of showed Adam the way. Um, this is just very heavy for a book and a 17-year-old to be writing this 200 years ago. So I absolutely love this book. Love it. Absolutely love the book. Hands down, this is a great book. And I hope that I have given you enough little tidbits of the book, in my opinion, that you'll read the book and you reach out to me and tell me what you feel about the book. I absolutely love this book. And it didn't rate a Manhattan just because I wanted to make a craft cocktail for it. And so hopefully that you'll, kind of, if you have these in your cabinet, make it. I'll put the recipe up. And I'm babbling now, so I'm going to go. So thank you again for joining me. Real reads, real drinks, and real talk with Boozy Bees Books and Cocktails. And I really appreciate your likes, shares, and hope you will subscribe. Thanks.
Cheers!